In this life, if you are not enlightened, then you might as well be dead. All these lights and cameras just flashing, they just flash.
Welcome to the Prince Nana Show. Now here's your host, me, Prince Nana.
Got no time for games, it's just action. It's just action. And everything I do is with a passion.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Prince Nana Show. I am so proud. All right, I'm so proud of each and every one of my followers and fans for subscribing, sharing, telling people about the Prince Nana Show. All right, it's really a great thing, and I want to thank you guys. If you are new to the channel, all right, and to my YouTube and to my podcast, make sure that you are subscribing. All right, subscribe to all of my channels. It will be updated every day as much as possible, as much updates as we can with news and also with the Prince Nana Show as well. So don't forget to subscribe. And also I'm gonna make the link available in the subscription in regard to the donations. All right, we're accepting donations for the brand, all right, for the podcast, and also for the book that is going to be coming out later on this year, early next year. All right, it's called The Embassy Forever, a pro wrestling memoir, and I'm looking very forward to sharing some of the deep details, all right, some of the deep details, all right, of what has been going down in the wrestling business for the last 26 years. So I definitely look forward to that. But today on the show, I have a really special guest. You know, as when you're growing up as a kid in the wrestling business, there's people that you look up to, all right? And the people that I looked up to as a kid, all right, it wasn't the colorful characters like the Doink the Clown and the Tatankas and all of that extra stuff. It was, you know, I was really looking at the guys, all right, that brought realism to the wrestling business. And that started happening around the late 90s, early 2000s, all right? And you know, a lot of that started around the whole NWA, WCW era, all right? And there was one particular person, all right, who really had me engaged, all right? All right, I was definitely, you know, mesmerized by the work that he was doing on the microphone, all right, and the work that he was doing in the ring, and he was being himself, all right. Today I'm lucky enough, all right, to speak to one of my icons, all right, his son here on the show today, all right. Not only is this the icon's son, this is going to be an icon soon. He, I should say, is going to be an icon soon as he is beginning to take storm of the entire wrestling business, all right, from the independents all the way to some of the top wrestling companies like MLW. And another thing I like about this guy, all right, something that I really like about this guy is that he really knows how to pick the women out, huh? Maybe I can get down to the bottom of him sharing some of them with me, all right? Today we're going to do that here on the podcast. So without further ado, all right, I want to introduce, all right, international wrestling superstar, all right, and the son of one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, all right, and soon this gentleman will be very well known and a household name throughout the pro wrestling business. Ladies and gentlemen, all right, the son of Brian Pillman, Mr. Brian Pillman Jr. Brian, are you there? Brian,
How's it going?
oh my gosh! You know, I was telling all these fans, before you came onto the line, all right, that I really hope that you don't get mad at me for asking you this question, this first question before we even get any further.
You ask whatever you want to ask, my friend. Nothing's off limits in my world.
You see, that's why I like you. That's why I F with you, my friend. All right. Did you brush your teeth this morning?
I did. I actually just did a minute ago.
Oh wow! A minute ago. What time is it where you at? It's like 4 o'clock where I'm at in Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah, I know. We're the same time. It's 3:30 p.m. here.
I know you a party animal, my friend. How are you doing, my friend?
I used to party a lot more before they shut the world down.
Oh my gosh!
So you're
This
up in
COVID-19.
Brooklyn then?
Yeah, I can imagine. It's really in New York. It's really crazy. How are you coping with the whole COVID-19 pandemic going on right now? Other
Yeah,
than being
it's not
locked
too,
up
it's
in your
not too bad down here in Kentucky. It's not too bad. Things are starting to actually open up again. So, I've heard it's a lot worse up there, where it's a lot more, population density.
right, right.
I've done a lot of work up in New York. I actually did a modeling shoot out there in Brooklyn before, and I've had plenty of matches and stuff. Dated a girl in Manhattan, so I
That's
really
right.
I
That's
miss
right.
the
See,
city. I used to be a part of the city a lot, but yeah, it's been pretty locked down lately, and I'm not too sure if I can go up there now.
I mean, the next time that it is able to, once the rings open up and so on and so forth, you have to make sure that you visit me. All right. But, because it's dense over here, you can come up to my penthouse. All right. I have the whole
Right.
roof. There's a lot of space. So you're
Hell
going to
yeah.
be good with Prince Nana. Is that a deal?
Hell yeah, I'll have to come through, dude. I'll have to come through the spot and check it out.
It's crazy because, I always admired, all right? And this is, I only know you personally, like from watching you on many different wrestling events that have been going down over the last maybe 4 years, 3, 4 years. And you're one of the top independent guys right now in the wrestling business. But one of the main things that I admire about you is your taste in women. Can I have some of your leftovers?
Oh Lord, it's so funny. My friend Icon, my buddy I travel and wrestle with, he says the same thing to me. He sees the pictures of my girlfriend and my ex girlfriend, and he falls in love with them too.
Oh
But
man,
no, I guess there's a common trend. Every girl I've been with recently has spoken Spanish in some capacity. So maybe I like the Latinas.
that's an awesome. Are you seeing somebody right now, or are you just going single and doing it all by yourself during the quarantine?
Right now, just in quarantine, I'm just kind of chilling at home. But I've seen many different women like around the world, but
That's all.
when it comes to my home life, I'm kind of just chilling. Like I don't see too many girls around here where I
That's
live.
good. That's good. That's good.
I,
So
you know,
basically,
I don't like the shit where I eat. You know what I mean?
right. You're a low key guy. You know what I'm saying? You don't try to have like a whole bunch of things going on because you are a superstar, man. Do you realize? I mean, I know you realize who your dad is. I mean, I can't even realize right now. I'm sitting on the phone with one of my childhood icons, kids. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? It's a
absolutely.
big. That's a big accomplishment for me. But like for you as his child, you know,
Yeah,
do you
it's a big
realize
weight. It's a heavy weight to carry for sure. Yeah, it's definitely.
it really is. And your dad,
I never realized it starting out, but now that I've been in the business a while, I've gotten to know guys, I've gotten to hear the stories, I've gotten to do my research on the history of everything. And I start to realize just how important he was to the evolution of the business and his range as a performer.
absolutely. What were you doing before you what were you doing before you start pursuing the wrestling like seriously?
So I was actually working for a company, big boy job, working for a company called Bert or no CDK Global, where I worked on databases. I was like a database guru guy. I used to
Oh,
work
so
with. Yeah, I was a big technology guy.
you are the guy that
Um,
I call. You are the guy that I call when my system crashes.
yeah, the systems. I'm always like booting them back up and getting into them for the accounting and stuff and whatever people are doing and shit. Yeah. But
What made you want to jump
I
into
didn't like
wrestling?
the desk life. I wasn't feeling it.
Right.
You know, I wanted to get out there and get active and chase women, like you said earlier.
Right, right. You're only 26 years old.
Yeah,
26 years old, but you have a kind of old soul. And the reason why I say that is because in this business, there's a lot of guys, all right, that don't have the history and the background, all right? I've been in the business since I was 16 years old. And there's a lot of guys that I, looked up to that didn't go to the WWE or whatever the case may be, but they left such a big impact on the business that I had to reach out to them and thank them. And you actually did that for me, and I wanted to take this time and say thank you for that.
absolutely, man. No, I've seen your stuff, and I've seen some of your work as well. So I knew you were somebody that would be a lot of fun to connect with.
That's great. What is the next big step for you in wrestling? Because you were trained by Lance Storm, all right? I know that was a strenuous training, all right? How long did you train with him?
Lance's class was for 3 months. So it was from about 9 to 3, Monday through Friday for 3 whole months. Yeah.
Wow. And what year was that?
It was a lot of hours. So on September 11th, 2017 to December 31st, 2017.
Wow.
I'm not even on my 3rd year yet, coming up on 3.
Wow. That's remarkable. That goes to show that you have this business in your blood, because from all of the stuff that I have been watching, man, you are one of the top guys right now in the industry, and it's just still remarkable that you're the son of Brian. What is some of your fondest memories of your dad?
I don't have many because I was so young when he passed. I was like 4 years old. Yeah, so I get that question often, but I really only remember hearing his voice. That deep raspy voice.
Right.
And then seeing the bolts, coming out of his ankle. I remember being young and seeing those bolts sticking out.
Right. I know probably like your family showed you so many pictures, and I know you just said you did so much research over the years. Some of my favorite moments from your dad, it include when he, came to ECW and he was feuding with Shane Douglas, and then he, went to I believe it was WCW, and he did WWE, and he did the got a gun angle and the loose cannon angle. There's so many stories and creative things that he did in the pro wrestling business that just drew me in. Do you feel your persona is similar to your dad's persona in wrestling today, if you kind of compare it?
It's I try to be myself, but the more I be myself, I end up being like him, right? Because we are, the genetics and all that.
I see it all the time, man. Every time I see you come out on the stage and you're talking and so on, I'm like, wow, this is just like deja vu.
Yeah. No, it's kind of funny. I watched some of his old promos and I'm like, damn, that sounds like me, but I didn't watch it first. Like I wasn't trying to be like him. I was just being me,
Right. How did you hook up with MLW, with Kurt Bauer's MLW, Major League Wrestling?
That just kind of came out of the blue. That was a huge opportunity for me early on in my career that they kind of approached me with. And I was like, I wasn't sure what to do at first. I was like, I don't know, like, because everything was happening so fast. But, I asked everybody. I talked to my advisors, like Lance Storm and Steve Austin, and those guys.
Right.
And they were like, yeah, dude, it's a great opportunity to just get some early TV exposure, be a kind of an original act on the show, and have a spotlight on me. So it's been 100% really cool to be a part of MLW.
What do you think MLW is going to look like in the next 5 years? And I know a lot is uncertain about 2020, but we're hoping that everything opens up. But how do you think things will look for them, let's say in 2 years? I know people will get contracts, that
expire and contracts renewed and so on and so forth. But just as far as MLW as a company, what are your thoughts on them for the next 2-3 years? Are you there, Brian? Can you hear me, Brian?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Did you hear my last question?
Yeah. I don't know why it went away. Maybe because I had my Twitter up. I don't know.
No, it's okay. No problem. I know you have your Twitter going crazy every day. All right.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I didn't know like if the app would work while I had this up, but anyways, yeah, I was really looking forward to this magic we were going to be creating at MLW, but with Corona coming out and throwing a wrench in everybody's plans, it's starting to look like, I don't know, because we do so much business in New York too, up there in Queens, and then we do a lot of stuff in Florida and Chicago, but I'm not sure if these denser areas are going to be opening up so we can do these bigger shows. I really loved working in those areas that MLW would run, and in Dallas and stuff. So we could definitely go back to Texas. That's for sure.
Right. The big cities. I know exactly what you mean.
Like, are they going to open up? Are they going to let us run and continue the story? So
right.
There's been talks about a possible extension with MLW to kind of help finish out these storylines, just because we had so much work to do. I'm basically, maybe talk something out with them. So
that would be awesome, because from the way that it looks, I see you as heavyweight material over there. I can see you going for it. From who's the champion there, Fatu?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see you going straight for it. But if you ever need some advice, you have my number, so we can talk about that off the line. All right?
Absolutely. No, yeah, that'd be awesome.
I like to. I'm in the wrestling business. I've made a little bit of money. I make money outside of the business, so on and so forth. I like to skinny dip in my backyard to enjoy myself. What do you like to do? Outside of the pro wrestling business, and what is it? What does it mean to you to be a pro wrestler right now, in this time?
Yeah, it's definitely hard right now because I don't feel like a pro wrestler. There's no shows going on. I don't get to see my fans and things. So I've been really staying busy, doing a lot of online, podcasts and recordings like this one, and just trying to connect with people in the business that I know are active and passionate. And I'm trying to keep talking about. I probably learned more about wrestling just in this quarantine, watching videos and talking with guys that will help me down the road, like more than I would if I was just on the road, so
absolutely.
Getting to rest my body too is a huge thing.
That's a big plus. That's a big plus. I mean, I know everybody wants to get back out there because it's like a drug. Wrestling is like a drug, but this break right now for guys like you and Low Key and Mr. Fatu, it's definitely well needed. It sounds like you're getting a back rub over there. They give me a back rub.
I was just checking the front door. My food was already supposed to be here, so I don't know what the heck happened.
Next time, I have people in your area that will bring it as fast as you can. All right. What are you eating for lunch today?
Where I live here, they don't have the speed down yet like they do up there in New York.
What are you eating for lunch today?
I'm getting some McDonald's because I love McDonald's.
You know what? I'm gonna call you after the podcast to see if you want me to edit that part out. But I'm gonna wrap it up soon. But I just want to ask you 2 or 3 more questions before I let you go, so you can eat your happy meal. Okay? You in the wrestling business, you also had other family members. You had your was it your little sister or your big sister? Can you hear me, Brian?
There you are. Sorry, I don't know why it's not letting me talk when I have something else up.
It's because you have the Verizon phone. The Verizon phone is no good. Go with AT&T, my friend. All right.
Oh yeah.
All right. The brighter choice. But what I was asking you, all right.
Oh, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
So I just couldn't speak. But
Oh, okay. You know what?
my older sister Alexis actually passed away a long time ago, but she was pursuing an independent career
Oh,
as
I
sexy
knew
Lexi Filmer.
Alexis. Yes. Yes, I saw some of her work. She was a ballet back in the day. You know, I'm sorry to hear that. What what else is going on? So like, I mean, other than you connecting and just trying to stay busy and active online, I know you're staying busy working out and so on and so forth. All right.
Yep.
You really have
Yep.
that's number one on the priority. But outside of the whole focus of wrestling, do you have any other things that you are focusing on, like real estate, like opening a strip club or opening a weed farm? I don't know. You know,
I need to open a strip club. That would be nice. But no, some side projects I do want to start working on. I really want to try and develop a Twitch stream, like a gaming stream. I'm a gamer, you know, so
right,
I can connect with my fans that way.
right,
Also, I do cameos where people can order, you know, basically order a promo from me, and
Oh,
that's
wow.
actually made me quite a bit of money doing that. Yeah, and I do at some point want to start a podcast.
You
But
better
I want to
have me
wait, you
on.
know, down the
You
road.
better
Yeah,
have
of
me
course.
on, my friend.
Because that's the thing. I think I'm a talker. You know, I like to talk, and I especially like to talk about wrestling. So if that's something I can garner a following for, that would be a good regular thing to do.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Um,
I was busting my head during the quarantine, and boom, the Prince Nana show started.
That's awesome. Yeah,
That's how
hey,
it
yeah.
goes.
It's
Yeah.
the birth of boredom is the birth of creativity, right? So
Yep. You hit
you
it on
start
the nail.
creating stuff.
Outside
Yeah.
of your daddy, right? Outside of your daddy, who are some of your inspirations in wrestling?
Oh, you know, I'm really into the guys that are like, you know, my size and my ability, like stuff that I can relate to, like Jericho and Kenny and those guys. I really like Cody. But that's because when I started studying wrestling, that's like what was hot. You know what I mean? Like when I started studying it at 22 to really get into it and wrestle, not just be a fan. It
Right.
was like the hot stuff was like the New Japan and the Young Bucks and all that. So like I kind of rode that wave like into my fandom.
Right.
And then, but now I look back more at the old school, you know, now that I'm kind of starting to understand how everything works. I really appreciate what the older guys did. But my initial like spark of, oh, I really want to do this was when I saw, you know, those guys and then seeing Jericho at, you know, 50 plus years old, still going and still hacking.
rocking and rolling.
Oh, well, maybe this could be a long-term, you know, thing, you know, maybe my dad, you know, still had some friends that made it work and, you know, didn't, you know, pass at a young, you know what I mean? Because so many guys pass at a young age back then.
Right.
But today it's a lucrative thing. And I think wrestlers are a lot healthier now and stuff, and they're taking better care of their bodies.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I know that, you know, again, rest in peace. The cause of your dad's death was kind of like hereditary. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
you know, it's a good thing to see that guys, you know, that are on the road now. I don't see too many guys getting drunk and stuff and really getting too crazy, like, you know, like it used to be in the day. Because like the ECW era, and this is way after your dad passed, the ECW era was really, really crazy, you know. So I you know, but then when the ROH era started, that's when like the video game geeks, you know what I mean? That's when they started taking over.
the nerd, Revenge of the Nerds, right?
Exactly. That's what I that's what
And
I
that's the thing. Like I feel like I'm torn sometimes because I'm torn between wanting to be that, you know, pussy chasing, fucking liquor drinking, partying, jacked up out in the juice, skilled up fucking animal, to wanting to be that, you know, funny gamer, you know, chill guy that smokes weed and eats food and talks about food all the time. You know, it's like
Right, right.
I miss the old school, and I admire that intense, you know, intensity that they had and the way they lived like rock stars. But you know, it's just not as popular of a mindset these days, and I try to bring that back, and I try to bring back the spirit of wrestling as a community thing where we're not like on our phones, you know, where we're actually going out and partying and meeting the people in the town.
Right.
And instead of I'm gonna go back to the apartment or to the hotel room and Snapchat my girlfriend, or let's go get some new girlfriends for tonight, you know.
Right. and
guys these days, they don't get it. They don't get it, you
know. They don't get it. And it's not to say it like, you know, I think that's more like a society thing. Also, society is so like, oh, you did this and you did that. And when you're in a situation of, you know, stardom, a lot of people, but you know, that doesn't mean that you have to stop living. And it's good to know that someone like you is still out there living and pursuing your dream and inspiring so many young wrestlers. Let me ask you this. You know, if you meet a wrestler now, all right, when they come up to you and say, hey, Brian, how can I make it into the business? What can I do? How can I be like you, getting all these bookings, getting all these women's, getting all these back rubs that are all set up by Prince Nana completed? How do I get that? How?
That's so funny that you would say that. Yeah, I know. I get kids. I get a lot of young guys messaging me on social media, you know, looking for advice on what they can do and everything. And my biggest advice is you really got to just sell your soul to the business. You really got to give everything to it. And
wow,
because that's when I started really figuring it out. Like I didn't really figure it out until I really gave my life to it and accepted that, you know, everything that you do can be an influence or can be an inspiration for your character, for your professional wrestling work, whether it's martial arts or maybe you read a book or maybe you watch a show and you see something in there that you like. I just think every single thing in life, whether you know, gymnastics or powerlifting, it all can be put towards wrestling and it all can benefit you as a wrestler. So to me, I just tell kids to sell their soul to it, and if you truly believe in what you're doing, and you go out through the curtain, and if it's real to you, it's going to be real to everybody else. If I can look in your eyes and believe you're going to go out there, and if I believe in you, I don't care what move you do. You know what I mean? I don't give a damn.
Right. Amen. That's some of the best advice, the best goddamn advice that I heard from a young person in a very long time. And these are the last two questions that I have for you. Okay?
And you have to love it. You know, everybody in wrestling, they're in it because they love it.
You have to. And I think like the best thing is the support. Going out there and supporting like the people that you know have the love for it. You can't deny that.
Absolutely.
You know, you can't deny that.
Absolutely.
You know, my last two questions, and this is gonna be quick.
No, you're good.
What do you? Okay, because I know you're trying to eat and you're trying to go do what you have to do.
Oh, you're fine. I'm getting this iced coffee out of here. You're good.
All right. So let me ask you this. All right. This is gonna be a joint question. All right. And I don't want to put no. But did you see the video with the young man getting shot in Georgia?
Getting shot?
Yeah, he was going out for a jog, and he got shot he got shot by two white supremacists. All right, they thought he was doing something allegedly. All right, did you hear about it?
So I've heard all about it. I didn't know there was footage. I haven't seen any footage.
Yeah, it's despicable.
No. Oh my God.
After this, I'm gonna send it to you. But the reason why I brought that question up is, where do you think our country is gonna be? Where do you think the state of affairs is for the USA right now? What are we gonna do right now with everything going on in the world?
I think it's crazy. I think it's unreal that even in this day and age that type of racism still exists. You know, like it's such a big problem when it comes to people that their minds are so I want to say brainwashed to think a certain way. You know.
Right.
And it's like you can't. The only way to reverse it is to completely reverse how these people are being raised and brought up, and it's a whole cultural phenomenon. I mean,
absolutely
like
right.
my upbringing, I grew up in a neighborhood, like a rough neighborhood. So like, I didn't really. To me, my friends were whoever were out.
Was outside.
I had
White, black.
I had black friends. I had Mexican friends. When my mom, was going through really tough situations and was selling my things and stealing from me, I moved in with my Mexican friend and his family. So I'm a very I'm a very cultured person in that I don't look at color as like a determinant for judging someone. And I personally grew up in an area where racism is just not tolerated in at all, and I think it's terrible that still pervades certain parts of the society. But I think it may continue to happen that way, and I don't think it's just in our country. I think in other countries, people are more racist actually, just from traveling the world. And I think that it in some places it's worse, in some places it gets out of control. But I think America is going to persevere. I think through this coronavirus, we're going to come together and realize that this virus doesn't care what color you are.
Yeah, I really believe so, and I think in November, when everyone is going out to vote, I think that's going to be a big determining factor. And my last three.
Yeah, they can't stop
you know it, my friend. My last question is this. All right, I'm gonna throw three names at you, and off the top of your head, you can tell me how you feel about them, and so on and so forth. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Number one, Brian Pillman.
He's the man. My father, the legend.
Awesome. Cody Rhodes.
He is making history. Cody Rhodes once said the coolest thing I ever heard. Before he went to the church to wrestle his brother at one of the AEW pay-per-views, he said, "Let's live forever."
Wow.
Yeah.
That's big, man. That's big.
He's
Steve
right.
Austin.
He's right. He made history that night with his brother, and
he did.
Greatest match ever.
He did. It was the greatest. I watched that match over and over again just to see all of the blood, sweat, and the determination that those guys put into the whole business, while their dad was alive and even after their dad has passed away. Steve Austin, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
The guy, the reason wrestling exists in the way it does now. One of my father's friends in the business. I'm very, very, very lucky to know him.
Brian, I want to thank you so much for coming on to the Prince Nana show. You have to come down to Brooklyn, man. I'm going to take you down to the Nathan's Hot Dog place.
Food there is great.
Hey, whenever you need to come, once this whole thing is done, all right, if you need to come and crash and stay in one of the rooms here that I have, it's a big room, big shower, all in Brooklyn, New York. You are invited, but you have to make sure you bring some of your women for me, all right?
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. We'll get all the Latinos in there.
Ciao.
Yeah, have a good one, baby.
Thanks for joining me for another episode. I'll see you later, fools.